Hi, in this video we're going to put together the football helmet, which is like a box also inside that will slide inside. So I'm just going to show you the pieces real quick. So these are the side panels. All these panels right here are for the shape of the helmet. We'll be doing that soon. These are panels to go on the side of the helmet. These are the guard, white portions of the actual guard. And we have a little piece, extra piece here. So this is going to be the front of the box that pulls out. So this is, there'll be a little box which will be made with this piece, and this is an extra support on the bottom because there's the box, the bottom of the actual helmet only kind of comes to right like there. So I'm going to put these guard pieces aside and the box piece aside. And these panels. And then we have this, which is going to go on the side. It's optional. You can put it on both sides or one side, but I'm going to have it on both sides. I'm only going to show putting on one, but there's two in the file. And then the stripes for the helmet, the top of the helmet. So to start with, we'll go ahead and put the actual shape of the box together. So we have these pieces. So the way you can tell which side of the box, so this is the whole back, so this is going to go together. These rounded edges is either side. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. There's just a little cut line which will show us where to line this up. And then these fold over. So I'm going to kind of pre-fold the tabs. And then we go ahead and put it together. So you only want to fold the tabs on the side. Just making sure I'm going the correct way. So this will be the top. And the way you can tell whether it's the top or bottom will be this little portion that folds over. And that's only to make a nice clean edge. If you do have a white core paper, it'll show as white. So just be aware of that. And this folds over to give it extra support on the bottom. So this will curl over like that from the bottom. So to help that, so after we score it, and you could do it before, you kind of want to just carefully curve it. You fold it there and kind of curve it up. I'm using American Craft textured cardstock because it does well with my 3D items here. So I know it's hard with the tabs, but if you can kind of fold it a little bit, just curl it. Or you could use something like this. Actually, you could use like a glue bottle too. I'm just going to show you with the glue bottle. I'm not using tacky glue primarily on this today, but this is my tacky glue bottle. So there's a lot of things around your craft room that you can use to do things like this without having to purchase all these special tools. So what we want to do is, you can see this piece is like this. We're going to glue that underneath, but to start with, we can go ahead and line this up. So we're just going to line that up. You don't want to fold it because we want it rounded, so it'll get it the right size. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue. This is a little fine tip applicator. Just going to line it up here. Make sure it's even on the top and the bottom the way that you see it right now. And that's where, at one point, once we get everything together, you don't want to do it until afterwards, but where this will go up here, because this is going to be placed like that after we curl it over. So we can go ahead and glue these little support pieces. So this is, again, just to make it clean. So that's the bottom edge. And then this is the top. It'll be the top front of the helmet. So just add a little glue to this tab. Try to get through the edges a little bit. If you do have white core paper you're using, I am using solid core paper from American Crafts, which is a textured 80-pound cardstock. But if you have a white core paper, you might want to ink these edges. But it is for twofold to kind of make it look a little bit cleaner on those front edges. You won't see the bottom as much as the top. So this is the bottom part, and the other part, the little one, is the top. So we're just folding those over. So those will be in the inside, like that. So we have each panel for each side. And so we have these are going to be the structure, and then we'll add these to the outside. So the way we're going to do this, just make sure you have the correct side first. It's going to go like this. Well, we're going to put it on the inside, but it basically goes like this. Right there, and then goes around. So what we're going to do is attach it to the bottom. We're going to put it on the inside. And the reason we're doing that is it's just structurally it's going to be easier. So what we're going to do, we'll just flip it the other way. Because it's always, we're not going to see this. So this is just a structural thing. But no, we want to go, sorry, we want to see the texture on the inside. I'm just trying to get the right way here. I just had the wrong one here. So I'm putting the non-textured, the reason I'm doing that, if you do use textured paper, so we're going to glue it like this and just glue it around, and it's going to be on the inside, is that the non-textured glues better to the non-texture. So when we glue it here, and you'll see how I'm going to do it in a minute, when I glue it here, we're going to, when we're done to the other side the same way, just the opposite, we'll glue this on there with the texture on the outside. So I hope that makes sense. So you'll see it, just give it a moment here. So the way we're going to do it is this way. So again, I'm just making sure it's not that critical, but if you're using textured paper, it's just easier to glue non-textured side. So I'm going to line this up right here. So this is what I'm focusing on. Right up to this edge. So I'm making sure that this, and I'm going to pick it up so you can see it, that part right here, goes up to this fold. Now if it's a little bit off, not a big deal. So once you get it anchored, so we're just getting it anchored to one tab, we're going to start gluing it around, like this. So the way that I'm going to do it is about like a third of them at a time. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do it individually, but I'm just going to put some glue on these tabs. We'll go up to about right there. So the way you can do it is push them up. The ones you put glue on. You don't want to just up enough so you can get underneath. Put them underneath. So what you'll do is trying to angle it in such a way that you can see. I'm starting from where I anchored it, go around, and making sure that that edge right here of this panel lines up to the inner fold of the tabs. You want to make sure that you apply pressure along those, but make sure you go in order. So start where we anchored it, and then do each one, make sure they're underneath before you apply pressure. So it's good and lined up. And that's what it'll look like on the other side. So you can see it's just going to go around here to there. So we're going to continue doing that. want you to be able to see this on one side. The other side is the same, it's just the opposite, so I won't talk you through it, but it's basically the same, just go the opposite. But I will show you, so you'll see the video. So this way you could do it like that too, but we're gonna do it the other way again. This is the easiest way that I found to do circular things like this. And if there's a little bit glue that's leaking at the seam, it's not a big deal. It's the inside, and you're honestly not going to be able to see this, but you can just gently wipe it away for your wet towel. Just make sure that you get the glue off your fingertips. You always have a wet paper towel handy. If this is your first video, it's the first time you're hearing me say that, but I say it a lot. Then we're just going to finish off these tabs. And if there's a little glue leakage on this side too, it's not a huge deal because we'll be covering that with a panel. But the biggest thing, and you see I'm a little bit off there, is getting this into the edges. So I'm going to go from the other side. And if this goes a little bit further than the curve, it's okay. So we try to get as close to the edges as possible, like I said, lined up here. And because I was a little bit off when we put this panel on, you'll see it's going to cover up most of those tabs. And maybe it's a little bit short for up there because that went a little bit long, but it really is not noticeable with the same color. The other thing I want to point out is I reversed my texture here. And because I reversed this panel, it gives it a little bit of a contrast. So that's the non-textured side you see through this, because I made this hole a little bit bigger, or smaller, I said. Then the top hole is bigger than the small hole in the panels for the helmet. So if you do have a white backing paper or something like that, be aware of that. So we'll do the other side, and you can just go ahead and watch me. So now we have the structure of the helmet. So you can see I did the same thing on both sides. And if you were watching, you can see that I did a little method where I kind of did each one at a time too. Some do overlap a little bit. I am just going to fix that tab right here after this video. I didn't like the way that laid, but anyways, it's basically the same. So we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next step. But before we put the panels on, we might as well just do the box part. So I'm going to put this aside for now, and we're going to go back to it in a moment. So let's go ahead and do this little inside box. And part of it goes with this. So, but first we're going to do this box and then we'll go on to that. So we'll go ahead and fold it on the score lines like that. You may need to take your time to score yours if you don't have as deep as score lines. I know with the Cricut score wheel, you have to really score it, get a crisp edge, either with the bone folder or, you know, I use anything that I have handy to do things. Again, I think you can use everyday's tools, but here's a little chopstick I use for other things. But you could use those to help get the folds down, or you could use a real tool that's meant to do that, which a lot of people use bone folders. So this is a real simple box. This is just going to slide in and out of the front of the helmet. I didn't want to make it just purely decorative. I wanted to be able to make it a gift, or something you can give it as a gift, or take it to a football game, or this would be also a good item for somebody like a football themed birthday party. You could just use it without this box insert. You'd probably want the part with the guard on it, but you wouldn't need the actual box. So this is just a simple box that I added to it. Trying to keep some glue off my fingers. So now that we had that done, what we're going to do is go ahead and fold these. There's like little tabs. So there's little tabs on this. So it's right here, and these fold right here. So what we're going to do is fold this up too, like that. So it folds like that. So it's going to fold, and we're going to glue like this. Line those up so it goes like that. So that'll be the front. And once we get those glued on, we'll put a little piece here. We'll glue this on top, which will help to keep those tabs glued in place. And then we'll put this box back here. So if you didn't want a box, you didn't need it, you just want it for display, you would just don't put this together. So, but in this case I'm going to show you the entire thing, because then you can just slide this in, and then I'll explain to you your options. You could attach it if you're not going to use it as a box. So let's go ahead and glue this on. And the reason I'm gluing it on the top is with a couple dots of glue here is so we can hide it with that blue piece. Just kind of holds it in place. It is kind of small. So if you made this box smaller, you could actually omit this whole piece. If you didn't want the front guard and you just wanted it to look from the side, you wouldn't even need to make this. So that's really up to you. So I just want to make sure that's good and secure before we move on. But now we can glue this. I'm going to do textured side up. This is in my way. It's the only thing about this particular glue bottle. Well, there's a couple things I don't like about this glue bottle, but right now it's my bottle of choice until I find something better. So we're just lining it up. I was a little bit off there. Doesn't really have to be really perfect. You're not going to see most of it. And then just put this in back. So this will slide, this whole piece will slide in and out. But we also have this additional piece, which is scored, just to give it a little bit extra strength on the front. So I won't add it in this step, but you would just glue it on, layer it on, if you need a little bit more, because we're going to be pulling in and out using this. And I'll do that further. Basically, I'm not going to show you on camera. You just want to attach that, and then we'll glue this on. So I went ahead and glued this box to the back of this. So this is going to slide inside. So this is what it'll do. It'll slide inside like that, and once we get the side guards on, as you can see, once we have the side guards on, the side panels, that'll just look more like a football helmet. So if you didn't want the box and you just wanted that, you could actually if you just wanted this piece, you could just glue it right here, or glue this on the bottom. And forget this, you could actually do another panel of the same color. It's up to you. You're not going to see the bottom, so I would just glue it like this to get the look, if that's all you're doing it for decor, and forget the box. But if you're doing it as a gift, be nice, you can just put a gift card or something like that. The other thing is you could omit this piece altogether and just use it as a side decor. So it's up to you. It's a flexible piece. So we'll go on to the next step. That means we need these big panels. Well, actually, before that, okay, let me go back. Let's do this, because we're going to cover this, put this white piece over, and we want to get these on before we do that. And then you can maneuver it better this way. So this is just going to go down the middle. I didn't give you a little cut line or anything, but we're just going to glue it down the middle, and then this next coordinating color. So I put enough colors on here, so if you have a favorite sports team, you can go ahead and use those colors. It could be high school or professional. So we're going to go ahead and we'll just add glue to this long panel here. Let's start at the top and line this up at the top. So just do it carefully. So we're going to just start. I'm going to try to find the center here. And then you could use your finger to kind of guide where the edge is. And you just want to go down. And if you need to arrange it as you're going down, you can always kind of move it sideways. So I just want it down just a little bit. So you want to be careful how much glue. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to do that, rub it as I put it on, and then all the way down here. So I'm using a cardstock, so you want to make sure that you apply a good amount of pressure. A thinner cardstock will probably go down to the edge here, but it doesn't take away from that. It's slightly longer than the area to account for this right here. So we just want to make sure that's good, it's set in place before we put the second one, because we don't want it coming up. So this is why we do it now, so it's easy to reach inside and apply pressure from inside as you do that. I could do this one, since it's skinny, I'm going to do just part of the way. You could do that. So I only put glue on like half of it. I'm going to center it, start at the top. And then we'll just slowly get it in place. Try to keep your glue in the middle, so you can kind of give it a little wiggle room to go left and right. And then we'll go ahead and add glue on the remaining part of it. So I'm just trying not to get too close to the edge, other than the very end there. So as I go down, I can make sure that it's falling fairly straight. So I'm just kind of watching it, applying pressure as I go. I have a little paper towel. My head got some glue on my fingertips. And then we have it coming down here. And you can go ahead now and reach inside and make sure you rub all over it to make sure it applies, or secures, I should say. So there's the top of the helmet. So the reason I didn't want you to do that, we wanted to do that first, because when we put this on, and this is just going to bend. I'm just going to curl it a little bit right here. So this piece is going to go like this. Over to the other side. And we can't attach it to both, but we could do one. So if you want to do one easily, we'll go ahead and we'll just glue this piece. Now to place the glue, here's my suggestion. You can place it right here where you can see it, and then a little bit on the other pieces that you don't know where it goes. So like on the other side of this, I'll put a little glue right here, 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 and there. Okay, so we'll start with this big piece, and just a little bit here and here, because we can't see where to glue that. So just don't go beyond there. And I'm just going to go like this, which is this part right here. Since I already did that, we're just going to finish it off here. So just note where you put glue on it. So you want to be really careful about how you line this up. So I'm going to flatten this. So we'll have to put the other side on when it's on the actual panel, when it's on it. So we're just lining this up. So we're lining this up right here, so you can see. So we'll do that on the other side, but it'll just be on the actual box when we do it. And you could do this last if you wanted to. I'm just showing you that it might be easier to start that way, and then you can move on to the other side. But you could put the panel on before and then try to put this on. So now we're just going to line this, put this panel on. So I'm going to add glue to the edges. So I'm going to get as close to the edge as possible. And you could use a tool. You want to be careful. Don't get too close to that hole. So go around that hole because it's visible right around it. And then we'll just go ahead and you could also put the glue on the actual helmet. So I'm going to be careful about this. I'm going to go this way so I don't get that little guard piece in my way. I'm going to line it up right here, bottom corner. We'll go ahead and get it in place here. I have a little wiggle room, so I'm just trying to get it in place, and you can see how it's that circle. It's right around that opening there. So once we get it in place, we can go ahead and flip it over and reach in and apply pressure around all the edges. So I'm reaching in and I'm applying pressure around where we put the tabs, around the edges, so we can get that panel good and secure. So we're going to do that the same thing on the other side. The difference is we'll be adding this afterwards. So you could try to do it before if you wanted to try to. You could do it like this. That's up to you, like that. But I'm going to do it this first, and then you can see we're just going to wrap this around. Once you do one, I mean, you can always modify the way you do it. I always have to pick one way of doing something and to show you, but it's not the only way to do things. There's only a couple things. If I think you can only do it one way, I'm going to say this is the only way you can do it. But I'm being careful not put glue around that hole, really close to the hole. So now we're going to go ahead and line it up. Again, I'm going to use this bottom corner because it seems to be the best place to line up. This is the same exact shape. I didn't get it angled right. So just lightly place it. I'm just making sure it's in place all the way around. And then once it's in place, we can go ahead and apply pressure again. So we're almost done. It's actually not as hard as it seems. I just have to explain it all. Once you put a couple together, it's not so bad. So this one, I'm not going to glue this on at all. What I want to do is be able to just fold this over like that. I'm not adding score lines because if you're a little bit off, the score lines will actually cause you more pain than good. So we're going to go ahead. I'm kind of stretching it to fit. This is the fiddly part. So you want to make sure this is lined up. So just get that up there and then we'll get it lined up. So if you're a little bit off on, so you can see I'm just kind of going this way like that, just to make sure it's nice and flat. So just go like that, and then you'll know that you're getting into place. So what we'll do, the best course of action is we're gonna get it in place one place. But we'll do that later. Let's get this, pull it across like that. We're just going to get this lined up with that piece. Because once you have that lined up, the rest of it will come into place. So I'm just lining that up. So the only thing glued right now is this. But I wanted the look of this across. So make sure that's good and dry. And then you can just carefully lift it and add glue in other places. So I'm just going to go behind here. Kind of lift it up lightly. I'm going to add glue in all the places underneath. And then make sure I carefully line it up on this side. So I'm just letting go of it for just one moment. And we're going to line it up. So everything's, the way that it's built is, it's all measured. So if you're a little bit off, it might be a little tight in areas. As you can see, I was a little bit off right here with the panel. So that every little thing can affect how it fits. So that's pretty much it. So we have both sides right now. Starting to look like a helmet, huh? And the only thing we really need to add is the side star thing. So I'm going to show you one side only. So we'll add it to that side, but there's a set for each side. And then this will go like this. Slides in and out to have a gift box. So you see it's kind of fiddly the way it is. The other thing that you could do, but I wanted it to slide in and out, but the other thing you could do, and I didn't want to add it to it, but this is an option. I want to give people options. This little piece, if you duplicate it and glued it on the bottom, just from the edge going forward, that would also give you like a bottom edge to help slide this in and out. But I realized some people might not want to use it as a box, so that's the reason why I didn't do that. So that's the way it is. So let's go ahead and just add this last piece. And I assume that a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people will use this with their favorite teams, whether that be high school, college professional teams. So I just added this little, it reminds me kind of an all-star image that I created, just for general use. So just going ahead and centering all these. I have a little bit of a extra piece of paper there. We'll go ahead and just carefully center it. So whatever you put on the outside, I'm just going to pop it up. And again, you can put another one on the other side. So put on its, I'm going to put it on its side, just kind of carefully place it where I want to. I'm going to do kind of like cattywampus there, a little sideways, a little style. That was some Scotch double sticky tape, foam tape, to pop it up. And there you have it. It's a little football box. So it's not going to lift very easily, so if somebody's lifting it to give to somebody, they could just lift like that. But if there's something in there, so if I had to put some weight in there, we'll just put some of our crafting items. Once it's in, it'll be supported by the weight of a small gift, whether that be candy, nuts, whatever it is. So that's it. Something fun for any, like a football themed party, or for the playoffs. Who knows? So I hope we have some football fans out there that might enjoy this box. And if you do, please give me a little thumbs up below there, and or subscribe to our channel. I thank you so much for your support, and thanks for watching.